YouTube Ray is up a duel. The Dark Magician main, Bestial, Toy Box, Dragoon, Dark Magician, yes? Wait, White Forest? Hold up, wait, you're the wrong person. You're not YouTube Ray. YouTube Ray's up there. You're both playing Toy Box. There you go, let's look at the extra deck from YouTube Ray. We do have the Dragoon. We don't have the Dark Magician's fusion though, interestingly enough. I do believe we are playing Dark Magician still though, as we are setting up with our Bestial, branded, regained. Anytime a letter Dark monster is banished during either's turn, we're gonna be drawing a card. Ideally, every single turn, we have our Masquerena now set up and ready here. Let's see what we can do off of that. The Masquerena could link off of the Druid Swarm, which will turn into a form of disruption, into a Little Knight Banish, into a Little Knight Banish. We have Super Poly Fuse to the field. That's about 4 disruptions here. And let's see if we can play through that. YouTube Ray. We're gonna be starting off with the Illusion of Chaos, adding the Magician's Souls, which will special summon itself. First, we're gonna set up with the Toy Box. And we set up with Toy Soldier in addition to that, triggering the regain to Reborn from the Grave, our Magna Hut. Sure, this is not a form of disruption though. It's fine. Grab a Quem from the deck, but we already used up our normal summon. So we're gonna Toy Box set up the Toy Tank. The Toy Tank or the Toy Soldier, I believe, have the ability to special summon the Quem from the hand. Tribute this monster, special summon from your hand. Or you could special summon from your graveyard instead. So we want to get the Toy Tank on the field, and the way to get the Toy Tank on the field is going to be through the Magician's Souls. This would be the opportunity on its summon in an open game state to deal with it, to fuse with it, to banish it, so that it does not get that Toy Tank in the grave to trigger to then summon the Quem. Looks like we're allowing it to happen as we send the Toy Tank to draw 1, but we have Druid Swarm. As the Toy Tank is a light monster, we're not only going to banish it, we're also going to trigger the regained, return it back in the deck, and then draw an additional card. Maybe we're going to draw another disruption. No, we will not, as we now make an Artemis. This is a Little Knight play. To stop them from summoning Little Knight, we're going to fuse their field. YouTube Ray says, nah, I'm out. That's too much, mate. All right, you got me. You saw my Telegraph Little Knight play, and you fused me. Let's hop into game 3. We hard opened Red Eyes Fusion. Ain't no way. We're gonna pre-preparation of Right, searching for our Illusion of Chaos. Illusion of Chaos adding our Magician's Souls. And we're gonna return back the Quem from the hand as we now Red Eyes Fuse into a Maxi, draw per special summon, set up our ultimate Red Eyes Dragoon. That's 2 normal monsters. The Red Eyes Dark Dragoon now has the effect to non-target destroy a monster twice, only within your own main phase. Otherwise, it's indestructible by card effects, it cannot be targeted by card effects, and it will be able to discard to negate anything. Soul Servant is going to be setting up the Eternal Soul. We can now draw the Eternal Soul with the Soul Servant by banishing from the grave. We're going to draw up to 2 cards there. Now, there's an important ruling with the Dragoon because the most relevant way to deal with the Dragoon is to attack over it or 3K suicide into it. The problem with that is the Dragoon is growing bigger every time it negates. But that's not true. It does not get bigger when it negates. It only gets bigger when it destroys. Let's read that. Negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. And if you do that, only if you destroy that card do you gain 1,000. What does that mean? If they activate Ash Blossom my Dragoon, do we gain attack? No, because the Ash Blossom is no longer in the original spot it activated in, we're not destroying it, we're not gaining. So that is something to take into consideration when you should negate if you think the attack gain is relevant. And the attack gain is permanent. It would become 4,000 attack and then further growing from that. Branded regain, summon our Astellar, which is not a trigger effect. We need the open game state in order to activate to summon from the deck. So we're gonna use and abuse that to summon our Dark Magician to banish with the Dark Magical Circle as regain returns it back to draw into our Lubellion. Come to us, Magna Hut, as we now Magna Hut, banish from the opposing player's graveyard to say goodbye to that Dark Magician Girl, which is very likely the only copy of that Dark Magician Girl, as the Ash Blossom now negates the Maxi as we are holding on to the Dragoon negate. We want to negate something better. What is better to negate? Magna Hut, send to then Reborn with the Lubellion. Lubellion pass. We didn't even discard to negate with Dragoon. We are good. Now, it's very important to note the Druid Swarm is it can not send the Dragoon because it is untargetable. But if we want to use it to send something else, we'd have to possibly want to chain link block it with another effect and a higher chain so that the Dragoon cannot negate. That's something you do want to think about. Let's say you banish at the same time it's sent to the grave, you would then put the regain on a higher chain link. We had Toy Soldier triggering regain to Reborn from the grave, Magna Hut. Now, there is no toy box on the field, which would trigger on our attack to destroy an opponent's monster. We are using Dragoon to negate and destroy a Magna Hut from searching for any dragon during the end phase. Holy moly! Right? No, we're not. We're actually using the other effect. We're still not negating. During your main phase, destroy a monster the opponent controls, and you could do it twice because we used 2 normal monsters. Oh my goodness. Pop in the Druiswarm. The Dark Magician is unaffected from the Druiswarm. That does not work. And the Dragoon also cannot be targeted. We could use the Dragoon again. Again, we're going to activate non-target Pop, burning for their original attack. Holy bird. 2,500, 2,500, right? We dealt 5,000 damage with the non-target destruction of the Dragoon. And this is only when you're not using fusion substitutes to make your Dragoon. As we now make a Little Knight, we now cannot attack directly, only if the banish goes through. We have to banish, it successfully banishes, so we should be safe from a lethal play. As we Reborn from the grave, Dark Magical Circle, we're going to be banishing a back row card, getting rid of the toys. And even with us not being able to attack directly, no, I cannot believe that Dragoon didn't negate anything. No negate, double non-target destroy, dealing 5,000 damage, just like that. YouTube Ray taking a Game 3 victory. Let's go. We are going second, though, as the Astelar discards a spell to summon from the deck a Sylvie. Sylvie grabbing the Tails of the White Forest. As we now synchro into the Racilla. Racilla is going to discard the Tails to trigger its effect to set itself back in the field as we search for a Woes Trap, which could summon from the deck, then perform a synchro. We have Ash, which will negate an interaction with the deck. We have Cosmic Blazer, which will negate anything. We have the Dragoon, which will negate anything, also indestructible and untargetable by card effects. Now, the Cosmic Blazer could negate a summon. Dragoon can negate any effect. We then have, off of negate, we have Woes. Woes could summon from the deck, then flip the entire field face down into a 4th form of disruption. And then with the field spell plus Primera and the Trudea, that's going to be turning into a 5th form of disruption. We got 5 plus the Call to the Grave, which I won't count as a form of disruption. Can we break the field for True Draco? Now, if True Draco turns out to be a good deck, I think it's quite a cheap deck to build because you don't need an extra deck. You can't see it here, but there are 0 cards in the extra deck, absolutely blank. So already very cheap to make off of that, and it should be a relatively easy to play deck. I would say that this is the deck that new players should go into once we find a good way to build it, and hopefully Big Tiger Vice could show us. We're going to be tributing a continuous spell to summon our Majesty Maiden, negating the summon of Majesty Maiden, just like that. Now, the True Draco Disciples, when sent to the grave, will pop a back row card. We're going to go for the Call to the Grave. Call to the Grave is going to negate and banish any further Maidens that would want to be summoned. We're now down to 4 disruptions left. Already using, we have not used up our normal summon. That was an additional summon through the effect of the Disciples. We're now setting up with the Monarch Field Spell. What does the Monarch Field Spell do? Well, you have no cards in your extra deck, and you're the only player that controls a tribute summon monster. Your opponent cannot special summon from the extra deck. It's a Floodgate. And we are going to Dragoon, negate that Floodgate, mate. I do not think so. Negate, we're now down to triple disruption. We still have a way to summon the Dynamite. Dynamite is coming up after this duality is getting negated. You're not going to look at the top 3 cards of your deck, then add whatever you want. 2 disruption left. Set up with the True Draco Heritage. Heritage is going to be tributing, and we're going to be chaining Trudea and likely the Primera afterward. Come forth, Dynamite Knight. First, we're going to be searching, and now we're going to be additionally summoning. What do? We did the first effect first. You could draw cards equal to the number of card types you control that were sent to the graveyard this turn. So we sent 1, we drew 1. Now we have Dynamite. we could chain the Dynamite. This card was banned for being too good. It's gonna, in response to the opponent activating a card or effect, you're gonna take a True Draco trap and set it face up onto your field. Get ready. First, we're gonna be triggering the Primera, and now, Dynamite Knight, set up that continuous trap. Yeah, buddy. We got the True King's Return, which if sent to the graveyard, it will destroy a monster on the field. Let's get to it as we make a Legatia. Legatia on summon is going to non-target pop the Dynamite and then draw an additional card. So goodbye to the back row. The Woes is now gone. We are at 0 disruption left. Nothing. Dragoon's been used, Blazar, Ash Blossom. The Woes just got destroyed by the effect of the True Draco Heritage. So we had 2 continuous spells pop in the back row, and now, with the trap being sent to the graveyard, the True King Return is going to pop a monster on the field. Goodbye to the Legatia. To battle we go. Goodbye to the Silva. This is obviously not good for True Draco, but we had to play through multiple disruptions. We have the Dynamite Knight again activating another copy, that is, to set up with the Apocalypse. The Apocalypse can non-target reduce all of their attacks to half of their attack, but you have to destroy your Dynamite to even do that. We're going to chain the Dynamite to another effect, set up another trap. They're going to chain Forbidden Droplet, sending a card. We're going to use the Apocalypse to dodge the Forbidden Droplet, but we have the Dragoon to negate the True Draco Apocalypse. What's important to note here is, let's see if the Blazar could have negated that. This states that, yeah, it could, because it can negate a card or the effect of a card. That would work also. Very nice. Wipe out the Apocalypse, and we are now screwed. Yep. Get reduced. We tried. Hopefully for game 2, we could set up a masterpiece that'll be unaffected from spells and monsters or traps and monsters. What do you think the best 2 forms of being protected from you should do with your masterpiece? A lot of people are complaining that they're making their masterpiece unaffected from spells and monsters, and then they're getting hit by impermanence. They're making themselves unaffected from traps and monsters, and then they're playing against Tenpai using Lightning Storm or Raigeki. What's the answer? Even a Forbidden Droplet it's now affected by. As we now Shokan into Silvera. Silvera is going to get flip that full face down. The Silvera is going to also have the effect of Illusion and Spellcaster Synchros deal double piercing damage if we were to have left that up on the field. We're going to be speeding on through this as we finish this up. We just added back our Forbidden Droplet from the graveyard. Lethal damage with the Dragoon at 5,000 attack. It had double negates, permanently boosting by 1,000 every time it negates. Let's hop into game 2. Solemn Judgment is actually becoming more popular among just regular decks because of Tenpai. Negating the summon of a Bident Dragon is amazing, but Decayed, they're gonna reborn from the grave. No, they can't. The summon is now legal. They can't reborn from the graveyard, and if the Tenpai player is smart, which many aren't, they can play around Solemn Judgment by chain link 2ing their Synchro Summon in the battle phase to dodge the Solemn Judgment. And yes, you heard me correct. Or you assumed correct, on Chainlink 1, you can negate with Solemn Judgment. I know you've been thinking, oh, but you can't negate a summon if it's on a chain. It's because on the resolution of the chain, it performs a regular Synchro Summon, thus then Solemn Judgmentable. All right, let's go. True Draco Heritage, additional summonings with Ignis Heat. Ignis Heat was limited to 1 when this deck got first place of a YCS. When the opponent activates a card or effect, you can take a True Draco continuous spell and activate it or put it to your hand. How do we play through Solemn, lose 1 turn, and summon limit? I don't think we can, but what is this? Dr. JB with his own spice using Skill Drain. We have a Floodgate battle. Let's go. Lose 1 turn and limit your summons. Oh boy. After 2 summons, you're done. And the turn you summon, you're negated. Monster face up, negate its effects in the turn with a normal summon monster will not be negated. Only special summon monsters are negated the turn they were special summoned. Sure. You're normal summoned, that's fine. Discard, summon from the deck. Your summon, you're negated, that's not gonna work. Woes of the White Force gonna set itself into the back row, that is fine. And you now have reached your 2 summon limits. No more summons. As you can see right there, the summon limit is applying as it is crossing out any normal summons or special summons left. We still have disruption though. We have the Woes of the White Forest, which will summon from the deck, then perform a synchro, which could then flip the opposing field face down. Is that going to be good, though? Probably not. Ignis Heat is chaining to the Trudea. This is an issue. If we want to summon the Primera and Trudea, we're now locked out of using the field spell to perform a synchro. So what I believe we're doing is we're only summoning Trudea to then trigger the field spell as our final summon. But whatever we summon, lose one turn is going to negate it. We are super disrupted here. I don't think we could do anything. Grabbing the Disciples from the deck off of you activating something. Well, Legacious negated, mate. That's it. We're still going to Solemn Judgment your summon even though you're negated by lose one turn? Okay. Negate your summon, mate. Sure. To battle we go. Say goodbye to your Esteller. If we were to summon with Woes, we would then not be able to synchro. This is our final summon since you negated our second summon earlier. We now have, what the heck is this? The Swamp Deity. This states that you can special summon this, then negate the effects of face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of continuous traps you control until the end of this turn. That is quite interesting. Let's go, get negating. Is that better than the Azure Rune? We're going to chain Ignis Heat again. We've +3'd off of this Ignis Heat. Well, technically we had to -1 first initially to summon it. So I guess +2 off Ignis Heat, and it's continually plussing every single turn, causing a lot of stress for the player, essentially putting them on a clock of we have to deal with that card. We can't let them plus every single turn. Now, what do we do here? Lose one turn, negates the Little Knight. That's it. You can't activate to ban. You could try, you're just going to be negated. So off of lose one turn and summon limit, we have won the duel. We floodgated them out with no Masterpiece, by the way. Where's the Masterpiece? Let's set this up with a Stellar, discard a spell/trap to summon for the deck, a Sylvie searching for the Tales of the White Forest. Now, what is our disruptions? We have Blazar, negate anything, Dragoon, negate anything, Droplet, non-target negate, Ash Blossom, negate an interaction with the deck. We have Phalanx, banish a monster, and then even more on top of that, we have the Woes, flip the entire field face down, but wait, there's more. We're at 6 disruption now, 7. 7 disruption because Primera and Trudea will summon from the back row, turning into a 7th form of disruption. Can we play through 7 disruptions? Well, the Disciples could pop back our cards when we tribute summon, but let's see what our newly drawn card is. Oh, wait, that's our full hand? I don't think this could do it. Okay, let's see. Disciple, additional summon into the Ignis Heat, pop a back row Woes, activate the Woes earlier than we likely would have wanted to, as the Ignis Heat is going to be chaining to it to grab another continuous spell. Droplet is going to negate. And that means the Woes will also turn into a non-disruption. So we're now down to 5 disruption only. Let's speed this up. Get negating onto the Draco. So there's going to flip face down if we want to. Sure. As we're now going to LZ, return back from the grave, which is good fuel for the Dragoon for discarding. We're going to summon our Dynamite Dragon, well, which is going to, not a dragon, it's a worm. Worm's a dragon, right? IRL. As that is another form of negating. We're going to use the Dragoon to also negate the field spell. And what do we have from here? Music? I mean, it's in. What are you talking about? As we special summon, what? Music's fine. What are you talking about? Chaos Angel is here. Come forth, Chaos Angel unsummoned, banishing the back row card. 2 more forms of disruption through the Ash and the Phalanx, but it's not even needed. Double piercing damage, by the way. 4K to the face. Lethal the Fool. Just like that, 2-1 victory.